So there is a huge cameo in Jedi Survivor, something that is actually not a part of the main storyline, and it is actually incredibly easy to miss. I finished the entire game, did not know this character was in there, and actually saw their name in the credits. So I think honestly 90% of people who play this game are not even going to see this character, which is a massive shame, and that's essentially why I'm making the video. But with that being said, I also really want to be careful of spoilers here. Some of you just may want to see this completely on your own. So here's how I'm going to go about the video. What I'm going to do in a second, and I will give fair warning every time I'm going to be talking about anything spoilery at all, but in a minute I will show a picture on screen of who this character is. So you guys, if you don't want to see it, you can just look away while I'm showing it on screen. Now after that, I'll then go into essentially the spoiler-free section of the video, where I'm actually going to show you how to get through this cameo. Just for context, like I said, I finished the entire game before doing this, and on top of that had to do about 4 to 4.5 hours worth of actual playtime to get through this cameo. So it's not easy to do, and that's why I'm kind of doing a full guide on it. And then at the end of the video, I will also show the entire interaction at the end. So you guys can essentially do with this video as you please. If you don't want any spoilers whatsoever, you can simply click off the video, or you can skip ahead with the timestamps in the description to, I guess, the guide section of the video that will not mention the character at all. If you don't care about spoilers, you can just watch the entire video, obviously. Or, to be honest, if you just want to see the actual interaction, feel free to just skip ahead to the end. But with that being said, let's get stuck right into it, because there is a lot to go through. Now, for those of you who do not want to see who this character is, this is your final warning. As of right this moment, I am showing the character on screen. And for those of you who are not worried about spoilers, yes, this character is in Jedi Survivor. This is not a mod, this is nothing fake, this is legitimate, so get very excited. Now for those who looked away, you can feel free to look back at the screen now. That character will not show up again until the very end. Now anyway, getting into the, I guess, guide section of the video, the first requirement you're going to have to do to pretty much start this side storyline is to progress the main story to pretty much about a third of the way through, or just after a third of the way through. Now I'm not going to say any spoilers again. All I'll say, because I have mentioned this in the previous video, once you unlock the blaster stance, you know you're getting close. This is probably an hour or so after that happens. You cannot miss this section of the story. Now, once you've progressed to a certain point, and this, again, this isn't part of the main story, so don't stress about spoilers. Along the way, trying to get to another part of the story, you will run into a certain character, and that character is who you can see on screen. Her name is Cage. She is actually a bounty hunter, and this is in itself pretty crazy, but she can actually give you bounty pucks, pretty much the same that Grief does to Mando in, obviously, season 1 of The Mandalorian. So yes, you can do bounty missions in this game, and that's pretty much the whole gist of what this side story is hunting down a bunch of bounties. Now, once you've done this little section, again, this isn't part of the main story, but it is just a little interaction you'll have with Cage on the way to another part of the story. Once you've done this, she will actually be recruited back to Pyloon Saloon, which is the main, I guess, home base within a Jedi Survivor. And from there, you can actually go and pretty much meet her in Pyloon Saloon. And from there, you can accept bounties from Cage. Now, as you can see on screen here, there are a bunch of bounties to do. I think there are 16 in total. And pretty much the general idea of this entire storyline is just to do all of your bounties. If that's all you need to know, then you've got all the information you need to know. Do all your bounties and you will find the cameo at the end. But the reason I'm going into a bit more detail is because some of these bounties are a little bit hard to find. Now, again, another spoiler warning right here. It is nothing to do with the actual story elements, but in a minute I am going to be showing some planets that have not been shown in any trailers and stuff yet. So if you just want to be completely blind going into the game, even to the point you don't want to know the planets that we get to play on, probably click off the video now and come back to it when you have finished the story. So that is your final warning. After this point, again, there's no actual story elements, but the planets that we're going to be showing, they have not been shown, or at least the names have not been dropped in any content so far. Now, something else to keep in mind is also that I did most of this after I had finished the main story, and so some of these locations you may not even be able to get to without certain abilities that you unlock throughout the story. So just keep that in mind. If you're like fully stuck on something and you haven't finished the story, there is a chance you just can't do this until you finish the main storyline. Now anyway, getting back to the bounties, most of these, in fact, I'd pretty much say of the 16, there's 13 of them that are very, very straightforward. You literally can track the bounty, just go onto the bounty and press, I think, square or X depending on what you're on. Not sure about PC, but you can track the bounty and they will just get put onto your map and you can see literally exactly where they are. So they're not too hard to find, but there are a few that are pretty difficult to find, in the same way that like on Zepho in Fallen Order, it was a little bit hard to actually navigate where you were going. Now the first one that I found pretty hard to find is Corday the Half and PR85T the Other Half. That is the name of these two bounty hunters and they're actually together. And where these characters are found is actually on Jeddah. So yes, Jeddah is in the game, that is confirmed. Pretty much all of us kind of cottoned onto it from one of the trailers where they showed Jeddah in the trailer, but they didn't mention the name of it. But that is confirmation now. The game does include Jedi. Now, once you get to Jedi, what you want to do is you want to fast travel through the halls of Randval Meditation Point. If you've done any of the main story, then you pretty much get this pretty quickly. It is on the main path of the storyline. Once you're there, you then want to follow the path that I'm showing you guys on screen, which is pretty straightforward, but it did take me a little bit to actually find this because, again, the map isn't super intuitive when there's like a bunch of layers on top of each other. You can pretty much speed run this whole course. As you can see, I'm pretty much avoiding every enemy here. It is easy to just speed run through this section, and I had a fair bit of practice because, to be honest, I did die a few times. These bounty hunters are not easy. Now, once you finish going along this path, you will come to the bounty hunters. Like I said, they are both together, so they're kind of tough just because you do have to focus on both. My only tip is just to focus on Corday the half. She is the one with the blaster. The other one is the big droid guy. Corday is definitely annoying because of the blaster and the range that she has. If you take her out, then the other guy is easy. All of those droids are literally, you can kill them pretty much without taking any damage. They're very, very easy to kill. It's usually the ones with the blasters that are bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. Now, the only other ones I want to mention are the Finau brothers and Cleo, who is another droid like the one I just showed. I'm not going to show these guys because they are on a planet that is very late game, and technically speaking, I am actually not allowed to talk about that planet at all. So I'm not going to show them, but I just wanted to mention them because when I did this, one of them actually kind of glitched out and disappeared, and then I was pretty much stuck in the room where you get like locked in, and I couldn't kill them to get myself out, so I had to restart the game. If that happens to you, do not freak out. Just literally close the game and restart. It doesn't take too long to get back to those enemies. Now, once you've killed all of the, I guess, like smaller bounties, there are the two at the top there that are, I guess, the main bounties. What I will say is that these two are not easy whatsoever. Now, granted, I was playing on second hardest difficulty. If you played on an easy mode, then sure, they're going to be easy. But also getting to them is very easy. So the reason I'm mentioning these guys is mostly to show where you actually have to go. When it comes to Killy also, do actually have to go back to Jeddah again. And the difference between these and the other bounty hunters is that it's not only just the actual bounty hunters, there are a bunch of enemies in the way, and you actually can't fast travel right to them. You have to fast travel to a meditation point outside of the area and then work your way through the area. So for Killy also, what you need to do is fast travel to the Time-worn bridge. Unfortunately, you can't go all the way across. This again is part of the main story. You've got to do this again. You've got to cross that bridge again, and there are a heap of enemies on the way. I'm going to just really quickly speed through this. It is very straightforward, and you guys would have done this through the main story anyway by this point. The enemies are all fairly easy. They kind of just more annoying than anything. And then once you actually get inside the temple here, you can then use a meditation point. Like I said, you can't actually fast travel through this one, but you can use it to pretty much get your health back and all that kind of stuff. And then it's obviously the next save point. Now from here, it is very easy. There's only one way to go. So just go down there. You will see Killy also down the bottom there. Killy also does have a lot of goons surrounding them. So this one, like I said, is not super hard, but it's more just annoying because there's so many enemies. But yeah, from here, it's pretty straightforward. Just take out Killy also. And that is another one checked off the list. Now, the next one I'd argue is even harder to get through. This is Joe the Cannibal. And this bounty hunter can be found on the Lucre Hulk, actually on Kobo. So you want to head back to Kobo. You want to head to the loading gantry meditation point. I believe this is the closest you can actually get to where this bounty hunter is, and this one is a slog. I won't lie, this is a slog to get back to where the bounty hunter actually is. You pretty much got to go through the entire Lucre Hulk, and there's a bunch of enemies. Part of the story is that the Bedlam Raiders and the bounty hunters are pretty much ganged up, and they're both fighting against you, so definitely you are not going to enjoy this part. Now from here, it is very simple. Actually, I'll show really quickly like where you need to go, but it's pretty hard to get lost at the first section. There's really only one way to go. If you just follow where I'm going on screen, it's very simple. You will then get to the Lucre Hulk core meditation point, which again, you can save at. You can't fast travel there, but you can save your progress and get your health back. Now from here, it is a little bit more difficult because they actually block off some of the main paths. You have to go a certain way. You want to head down this little path to the left, which is not part of where you need to go in the main storyline. So it took me a while to actually find this little section. From here, there are a bunch of enemies, a heap of droids in that next room. So just take all of those guys out. You then need to run around this little corner here, which again, you go through this section in the main story. So you will remember it when you get there, but it's pretty hard to actually find. From here, you need to jump across that little gap, and there are a bunch more enemies here. Take them out and you are almost there. From here, it is pretty much impossible to miss. You just need to go up this rope here. You can then use the actual shortcut, so that saves you a lot of time getting back. And from here, you can find Joe the Cannibal, who not only comes with one of those like heavy marauder type enemies, but also a magma guard as well. So again, not easy at all. What I actually found is that on this lower platform, they kind of lose their aggro against you, and unless you attack them, they don't really attack you. So I know that's a little bit cheesy, but I was trying to get this done as soon as I could. If you're really struggling, that is an easy way to get past this. It's still pretty difficult because they will attack you, but it's definitely easier than going up on that top section near the MTTs there. Now, once you take out Joe the Cannibal, that is all 16 of the bounties done. From here, you just need to make your way back to Pyloon Saloon, and this is where it starts to get interesting. So Cage will not be at Pyloon Saloon, and there'll be a thing there saying you need to meet her where you first met, and it's going to show you on the map where that is. So just head to this area on Kobo. It is the Devastated Settlement meditation point, and that is where the final sequence actually takes place. Now again, spoiler warning, not only the actual cameo, but what happens here is a little bit of like a story twist. So again, if you just wanted to see how to get to this section and you don't want to see any of the actual outcome, click off the video now. I'm going to be getting into spoiler territory for not only the end of this like little side quest, but obviously the cameo, which is pretty much why all of you clicked on the video. So that is your final spoiler warning. Now once you get there, you're going to meet with Cage in exactly the spot where you first met her, and how it actually happens is that she turns on you because pretty much after all the bounties that you've done, the bounty on Cal's head is so big that she couldn't resist it, and she actually turns on Cal. So you have to beat her, and she is a very, very tough boss fight. She's super agile, she has blasters, she's very, very annoying. For me, the crossguard actually worked the best, so give that a try if you are struggling. You will get her eventually, but yeah, she's definitely a little bit frustrating to say the very least. And once you take out Cage, then that is where the cameo happens. So I'm going to play this right now without the commentary and just let it all play out for you guys, at the risk of this getting demonetized because there is music in the background. So F in the chat for that YouTube bag. Be sure to hit the like button if you have enjoyed the video so far, just to help a brother out, but I'll let you guys watch this without the commentary over the top.
Come on! This is what I live for!
It's what you'll die for. Last chance, Cage. Walk away.
That's not how I play. Boba! Boba! Looking slick, buddy.
Cage, it's been a while.
Hey, you two know each other?
We go way back. How about we bringing this Jedi together? Split the bounty right down the middle.
I'm not here for the Jedi.
No, it feels good not to be the target for once.
You have no idea how valuable this woman is.
Well, when you put it that way... Listen up! There's two kinds of people in this galaxy. Those with live thermal detonators, and those without. I trust you boys can do the math. Time's up! Cal! You're not just gonna let him take me away, right?
That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Very well. See you around, Jedi.
So obviously that cutscene is very, very awesome to watch. Now, also after the cutscene, you can also then talk to Boba. He has a few interactions you can do with him. I'm going to show the 4 different interactions you can have before he essentially just becomes a statue until you leave this area.
Keep moving, Jedi.
And turn my back on another bounty hunter?
wanted you dead, you'd be dead.
In case it hasn't clicked, Cal, this guy's not exactly a fan of Jedi.
That would be an understatement.
Which begs the question, why team up with one?
We had a common enemy, Cage. You.
Make no mistake, we are not allies. I know Jedi. I know what you are capable of. And I do not pity your fate. What do you want?
I'm curious. How do you two know each other?
A lady never tells.
Our circle is small. Many choose the bounty hunting profession, but few survive. And Cage never seems to die.
No, she doesn't.
But a bounty will fetch a handsome price.
Once Sork learns your role in taking down the Haxian Brood, who knows what'll pay for you.
Listen, Boba, if credits talk, let's talk.
My client's pockets are far deeper than your scum.
You wanted to play this game, Cage. This is your reward.
We're done here, Jedi. Hope we never meet again.
Got the message, loud and clear.
Leave me be, Jedi. I'm just taking in the view before I take in my bounty.
Suit yourself.
So that is it for the cameo appearance in Jedi Survivor, guys. Like I said, this is obviously very easy to miss. That's why I made a video on it. Hopefully I was good with the, lack of spoilers. I've tried very hard to not spoil anything in this game, but there's also so much stuff that I do really want to show off because some people are going to spoil shit anyway. And if I can show you guys how to get there without spoilers, or if you don't care about spoilers, I can obviously show the clips like I did. That is what I'm here to do as a content creator. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. And if you did enjoy the video, be sure to hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more. There's going to be a lot more videos on Jedi Survivor in the coming days and weeks. So be sure to keep your eyes peeled. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day and may the Force be with you always.